As you can tell by the sunglasses on my head, the cold weather has gone. It's gone. The sun is out. My soul is ready for summer. I'm so done with the cold weather. I went out today, went to the park, took a book. It was glorious. I recommend the same to everyone. Today I'm doing my March reading wrap up, and I read 4 books in March, which is fine, I guess. I'm always disappointed in myself because I always want to read more, but I'm just trying to be kinder to myself. I had work to do. I had a lot of sleeping to do. I had a lot of shows to watch, so I'm just like, you know what? I'm happy, and the ones that I read were really, really good, and I'm really excited about. So the first book I read in March was Unfiltered by Lily Collins, and if you don't know, I really love Lily Collins. I think she's not only just a great actress, which is kind of what she's best known for doing, she's also just a really great person, I think, and even though I don't know her, but she's often quite outspoken about issues such as bullying and other things that she talks about in this book, which I'll get onto in a minute, and she's just an advocate for kind of being open in yourself, and that's basically what this book is about. It's about kind of living your life unfiltered, and she talks about various topics like her relationships with her parents, also abusive relationships that she's been in, her experiences with addiction such as bulimia, and also being in a relationship with someone who is addicted to alcohol, and she opens up quite a lot in this book, and that's where the book really kind of shines, and you really get a sense of her voice and her kind of personality in a way, and just her willingness to try and help others, and that's what really drives this book forward. It's got loads of cute pictures in it, and also has more light-hearted moments where she talks about, you know, her famous eyebrows and the time that she tried to pluck them when they look ridiculous, which I relate to. That happened to me. I have eyebrows and I wasn't happy with them, and I tried to fix them, and oh dear god, that was the worst thing I ever did, and there's photographic evidence and it's disgusting, so don't do that. But I just really enjoyed reading this. It was quite short and quick, and I just thought it was great, and it's just a really enjoyable read. Even if you don't know Lily Collins and you haven't watched her or anything, it's just a really enjoyable book, and there are some quite funny anecdotes and also some more serious life lessons in there for you, so I really recommend this. Next I read Fullmetal Alchemist volumes 1, 2 and 3 as part of this kind of bind up, which is a manga. I'm learning, I didn't call it an anime, so yay. And I really enjoyed this. It's about alchemy, which is kind of like this magic, but it's also with science and cool things. It follows these 2 characters who are alchemists, and one of them is called the Full Metal Alchemist because he has a metal arm and a metal leg, I think. Yep. And they're trying to find the Philosopher's Stone because they want to try and get their arms back and legs back, and the other one is just metal, so you know, that'd be nice not to be metal, so they're trying to find the stone so they can do this ritual, and it's really cool. I really like the art style. I thought the humor in it was fantastic. I really like the characters, and I like this format as well because it's 3 volumes in one, so I kind of got into the story, whereas with a lot of mangas I find that it's 1 volume and it's really short, and before you've even got to know the characters and the plot, it's just ended and you're like, oh. Whereas this didn't happen with this one, so I'm excited to read the next one, and it was good. Next up I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I think I started this back in January, but I only just finished it now. And I was kind of meh on this book. I enjoyed it. It's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. So the setup is there's this girl Farah, and in her mortal realm, so us lowly humans, they fear fae and the fairies, and she thinks that she sees this fairy out in the woods, and then she realizes that she does see this fairy who's a shapeshifter, and it's in the form of a wolf. So she kills the fairy out of fear or out of hatred, you decide. And then as punishment, this other fairy who knew the one that she killed turns up and is like, oh, as punishment as punishment for killing a fae, you must come and live in the fae kingdom for the rest of your days, as prisoner, basically. And I enjoyed the setup. I wasn't too enthralled with the characters. I mean, I read this because I read Sarah J Maas's Throne of Glass series, which I love, and I love her writing style, but the characters weren't as there for me. I was kind of like, eh. They felt to me like pretty stock YA characters, and the first half of the book felt quite slow. A lot of it was her exploring this fae realm, but kind of limited because she wasn't allowed to leave the castle grounds and stuff. So that was all quite slow, and because it took me so long to read it, I think I just made it seem slower than it actually was. But then it really picks up towards the end, where there's an introduction of a new character who's infinitely more interesting than the other character, and try not to spoil it, it's really hard. And they kind of shift location, and the motive changes a little bit, and the world opens up a little bit towards the end, and it's a lot more interesting, which made me want to read the second book, because during the first half I wasn't thinking of reading the second book, but now I have, and I'm that much through. I don't know if you can say, I'm this much through, I've got this much left, and I'm really enjoying it because it's focused on the characters that I like, and it opens up the world a lot more. You get to see a lot more different things, to find out a lot more things, and the characters are a lot more interesting in this one because they're new characters, and I'm enjoying it, so I recommend the series. Get past the first book, because the first book is not as good as the rest of the series, I would say. Cool. And the last book I read in March was my favourite book that I read in March, and honestly one of my favourite books of all time, maybe. Bold statement, and that is The Princess Diarist by Carrie Fisher. And I said in my haul, when I hauled this, that I never watched Star Wars growing up, so that's not what this was about for me. I just love Carrie Fisher as a person, as just an advocate for being yourself and, you know, being a woman in the world, not just in Hollywood, and also talking about mental health. And she was just so funny, intelligent, open, honest, all of these things that I aspire to be, and this book was incredible. It's basically, the premise for this book is kind of, she found the diaries that she kept during the filming of Star Wars, and she's looking through those old diaries, and she chronicles her affair with Harrison Ford, which has only just come out in this book. No one knew about it until this book was published, and so she talks about her affair with Harrison Ford in this kind of beginning bit, and then she has the pages of the diary, and you can read her diary from those days. And honestly, it made me feel so inadequate, because her diary is just so hilarious. Like, it's so funny and it's so witty, and she's so intelligent. The way she analyzes herself and her behaviour is honestly like she's her own therapist, and she's so grown up, and you can glean so much from it, even though she's kind of still a teenager, and it's just so incredible to see her observations on the world. And it was honestly really fascinating and so enjoyable. And just so it speaks for itself, I want to just read out a bit, which I found really useful, and probably anyone would find really useful. But it's from her diary when she was 19. She was 19 when she wrote what I'm about to read, and I'm just like, I'm 19 and I don't know anything. This is great. Anyway. People adapt to you. Don't worry, you can't alter what they think of you to any great degree, and by the same token, what they think of you can't alter you. You sit patiently, awaiting that dreaded yet hoped for disapproval. You're afraid you seem foolish or pretentious. You pounce on everything you say with a pair of tweezers and pluck it about until you can't remember exactly what it is you said, what context it was in, if you even said it, and if anyone heard you at all. And how much their opinion means to you. Are their mental credentials so impressive that you have to put yourself behind their eyes, find yourself loathsome and or boring, and make it matter? Why am I in such a hurry to find out what people think of me? I have even gone to the trouble of playing myself broadly in order to hurry up their decision. I give them one of many varieties of brief or not so brief summaries from which they can draw a conclusion. It depends on how much time and energy I've got, and then I give away portions of myself according to that. I mustn't allow myself to get sucked into thinking that it's romantic to be neurotic, and that being neurotic means one has to be complicated and somewhat intellectual, deep, proud of the fact that you can sink into the depths of despair. A neurotic, complicated, somewhat intellectual, deep gal who's also wacky, zany, and madcap. A must at a wake. I must be who I am, and people adjust to it. Don't try to rush or influence a decision. Do not let what you think, they think, of you, make you stop and question everything you are. Surely between the various yous you can find that you not only have enough going for you to keep you going, but to take you far, maybe even to Alderaan and back. Ah, Karen! So that's everything I read in March, and please let me know what you are reading, and if you've read what I've been reading, and we can talk about it. Cool. Why? And yeah, I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!